Hello everyone and welcome back to the DMside. As you can see, we have a bit of a different setup. I'm trying a few things out to see what works best in the space that I have to use, but that's not why you're here. You're here to hear about running the game Waterdeep Dragonheist. Now, for those who are new to this channel and are about to run this actual module yourself, I would highly encourage you to click on this link here and head back to the start of the playlist so that way you can watch from episode 1. But for everybody else, it is sad for me to say that this will be the final episode because we finished the story this week over 2 Sundays, so we're going to find out exactly how that went down. So, as always, give this video a thumbs up, comment any thoughts you have throughout the video, and subscribe if you already haven't. So, let's jump into it. Alright everyone, so where did we last leave off? Our players were with Zardos Zord. He had the Stone of Galore and they decided, well, we need to parlay with him. We need to work with him. There's been so many times that we have wound up at these boats and not gone on and been too afraid. And so they went, you know what, today's the day. So they went in and they spoke to him and came to an agreement. They would find the treasure and he would pay them 5,000 gold pieces to do so. As well as, if they would like, if there is a staff down there that happens to be a dragon staff, he would like that and he's willing to pay an extra 5,000 gold. Now, they got the location of the vault. They did pass that on to Zardos Zord, who they don't know is Jarlaxle Baneray. And they did omit some of the details passed on, such as there's a gold dragon down there, and also you need 3 keys, and the 3 keys you need are these, which were a drunk elf, a picture of a dwarf mining, as well as a shape changer. So how did they get their keys? Well, Watch, funnily enough, has a painter's kit, so he painted a picture of Sparrow the dwarf mining, which was really fun, and we did a little bit of creative roles with that, and they managed to get a painting worth 250 gold pieces of a dwarf mining. Then he needed a drunk elf, so the players hosted a drinking competition at their tavern where only elves were allowed to participate because they were donating all of the money that went into the competition to the family of the elves who were killed way back when, I think around chapter 2, when they were hearing about elf killings down the dock ward. So they had a lot of people come, a lot of elves, a lot of other people donating money, and they got their drunk elf. The final thing was a shape changer. Now, they have actually had a bit of a run-in with a couple of shape changers, known as the Doppelgangers. Bonnie is a doppelganger, and then she has her posse. Luckily, Hootie had actually kind of made a little bit friends with one of the doppelgangers, who said if he ever really needed to speak with him, he could find him in the city of the dead. And so they went there, they parlayed with him, they offered him 200 gold up front, as well as an additional 300 gold after he had gone with them for whatever it is that needed to be done. They just knew he was a key. They said that they assumed that perhaps he may need to transform into Daggett Neverember, maybe just for voice recognition or the actual face, which I thought was a fantastic idea. To be fair, I do think the keys in the Waterdeep section in this module are a bit lackluster. I would have loved to have actually set keys rather than a table of keys to roll on, so that way the keys could have more meaning. Having a doppelganger need to change into Daggett Neverember or into Lariel Silverhand or just anyone in particular, that is way more exciting than just having them stand at a door and then having it magically open because you got them. So that's how they got to their 3 keys. Then they went to the old Windmill. Now, really cool, they originally said they were going to case the place and then get the keys. But even though I reminded them a couple of times at the table at the beginning of the session, they kind of just didn't really mind that anymore. So they actually went there with all their keys, and that's when things got a little interesting. So, in the Windmill, there is this really cool oldish lady who's gone a little bit crazy. She used to be more of a noble. She was actually having an affair with Daggett Neverember. Who'd have thunk it? And because he left her and went to Neverwinter, she kind of holds a grudge. And so she actually has this cool ability to paint paintings that actually can come to life. So she's meant to touch the paintings and then they can come out as an action. But I took a bit of creative directiveness with this and had the paintings are able to come to life once you get within 30 feet of them. And I spread them out throughout the house, and I actually had little plaques that had little phrases that would connect to her feeling betrayed by Daggett Neverember. So for example, there's the mummy on the table, and on the mummy's plaque I had, "For the curse you left me with." And then there's things like, I believe, the griffin, or the manticore. The manticore, it was for the beast that you are. And there were a few other ones spread out around the house, and that just really kind of spread this story of, hey, there's a love story going on here and someone feels betrayed. And so it kind of meant a bit more. And that bard lady actually really held her own. I thought they would just kill her really quickly, but she has some pretty cool abilities, and she did manage to actually charm and befriend some of the players, and then, so not convincing them to leave and forever be gone. It's not like a suggestion spell. She's casting charm person, and so it's more of a, hey, we're friends now, and she just asks them to leave. So that it actually worked on 2 or 3 of the players, so the party had a bit of a difficult time actually dealing with her. Eventually they did manage to kill her because it's one person, and there were 2 shadows that I threw in the room as well, because they are a higher level, to be fair, and they were fine. They got way past that. So once they got past her, they kind of looked around and they found the entrance to the vault. So they traveled down deep into Waterdeep, down underneath the city. They came to the vault of the underground vault. Once they got to the underground vault, they had their keys walk up, and the door opened. Now, roughly around this point, just before they went down in the Windmill, I had somebody casting Scry on Hootie. So previously I mentioned, hey, I need to have someone else show up because they made allies with Zardoz Zord, and in the book it says that he's totally happy to let this all happen. So I went with Xanathar, and I decided to have the Mind Flare from the very first session show up with Maloon, as well as 2 Intellect Devours. Now, that will come in much later, but he was the one who was scrying on Hootie to find their location. So he failed the save against the scry, and so that gave me good reason to allow this person to kind of appear. So into the vault they went. They cased the vault. It was pretty empty in the first main section, and then they went up around some stairs. They went into upstairs where there's like 3 different rooms. There's a fake trap, then there's a black ooze, and they really just kind of worked their way through. It was pretty easy, to be fair. They were just kind of navigating the fact that there were these 3 bridges that were pretty crumbly, and so they just had to think around, think outside the box for that. And eventually they were jumping over, they were using pittons to put ropes down, and a lot of other different things. But finally they found the entrance to the actual vault where the gold dragon was, where they went, where Oranax was, and they never really found out his actual name because they went down and they convinced him that the money needs to be returned to Waterdeep. They convinced him that they were these people sent by Daggett Neverember through distracting him with Raynar Neverember's name, getting advantage on their rolls, and actually being allowed to take the gold. So they decided they were going to do that and return it. So we stopped the session there, and that's where we took a break. That's where we stopped because it was about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I went, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen outside of this. It's going to take too long. Let's take a week. So we did that, and they were talking about, well, let's go out and let's actually go get Zardoz Zord, bring him in with some of his pirate buddies, and let's take this gold dragon together because we found the gold, so we're done. And we were told we can have anything that's left inside there except that staff. So there's a big hoard in there. I mean, this is an adult gold dragon. They got a lot of stuff. So they left the table with this idea. Fast forward a week to Sunday when we finally play what is the final session. They change their mind. They get there and they are leaving the vault, and that is when the Mind Flayer attacks with Maloon, and this really cool battle happens. It was really, really dangerous. I expected, based on what I've been reading in the Reddit streams, that they were just going to lead them into the Gold Dragon, have the Gold Dragon help them, and then they'd be on their merry way. However, they didn't, and I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe they can lead them into the room where the sconces are, and if they fail their saves, then they'll be stuck there to protect the sconces, then they can just kind of navigate around the room. But they didn't do that either. What they did was, Giorno, the monk, jumped on down and stunning striked the Mind Flare because they got a surprise round, and he actually stunned him and they obliterated the Mind Flare in one turn. It was amazing. I was actually really happy about it because it's very difficult because Maloon has like almost 200 hit points and he gets 4 attacks. So he was putting down, he put Diona down, then he put Sparrow down. He was really doing some damage, and eventually the party managed to get out there and put him out of his misery, as well as the Intellect Devourers, but it was pretty close. I was half expecting maybe some death saves to come into play and maybe someone would die in that last session, but they were very lucky and they made their saves. Giorno actually getting a nat 20 and getting straight back up and having another couple swings before he get put back down by Maloon. So it was a very fun battle, extremely dangerous. However, they did end up navigating it in a very different way. We had a bit of a laugh about that later, and I kind of explained like, oh, I thought you'd take him to the dragon, but yeah, they just didn't really think of it. So after that, I said, well, you're gonna go get Zardos' sword and head down and take care of this gold dragon. And they all sat and they spoke for a bit as characters and decided what was best for them. What did they think they were going to do? And well, they decided we don't need the extra 5,000 gold. We don't really need anything. We're done. So, as per the book says, Zardos Zord is true to his word. He has bigger plans. So they led him down. He offered them a little bit more money just to see if they would like to, you know, consider going in. They said no. And the gold was returned to Waterdeep, and that was it. The end. It was a really anticlimactic ending, but also I really enjoyed the thoughtfulness of what do our characters want and not do we want to go in and be people at a table playing hack and slash. They really thought like, well, the job's done. We're happy. And I really liked that. I thought it was a good choice, even though I had planned so much. So for example, I had actually made the maps expecting them to battle against the dragons. So first of all, this was the map of the lower level of the actual vault, and then up top we had the second layer, so they're the bridges and the rooms. So I spent just a night drawing this up and attaching it to some cardboard. It is meant to be double layered, but I couldn't get it to stand properly, so I just went with the 2 flat maps. But we did use it against the Mind Flayer, which was pretty fun. However, I also then had the vault, and this is the vault for the map, so yeah, we didn't use it at all. But it's cool that I had it, and it was good practice. I really like the idea of making maps now. So I'm considering watching a couple videos and doing some test maps, and maybe even making videos myself of me just kind of playing around with map building in general. Not so much as a, oh, I know what I'm doing and you should definitely follow what I do, or as a, I'm just kind of testing it out and we'll vlog that series and see how it goes. That's sort of my idea. Comment below if that'd be something you're interested in. So, after that, the game was over, and we sat and we spoke about what the players did, and so it was very interesting. Hootie actually said that he wrote up the entire story, used all the words, all the names, every single detail that he in particular had, except he did omit anything that would mention the Harpers, and he even had them look over it so that way they could cross out things they weren't too happy with. And he released that and then skipped town, which was really funny. He gave the players some notice that he would be releasing this, and they all kind of went, okay, how bad do I look, and decided they needed to leave. Sparrow went back to the Doom Raiders and asked to be let back in for protection. Watch decided that he was going to leave and go to see the Lantanese Wizards to go and see, learn more about where Warforged came from and about himself. And Giorno went off and searched for Jack, and he found him, which is great. So now those two are back together. And then poor Damien stayed to run the business. However, Trollskull Manor got burnt down because of all the enemies that were made, that were revealed in that article. And Damien was left with, to be fair, left with money, and he was helped out of the city by Raynar Neverember. But he's on his merry way to who knows where. And that's where we left our players. So thank you, everyone. I don't want this video going much longer because it really is the end. There will be more videos coming in the future. I am going to be doing a full sit-down review of the chapters of Waterdeep and what I personally think based on how this went. That will be a long video with chapters in the video timeline. So get ready for that. That'll probably be coming out next. And I'm working on just a few more kind of short monster videos based on all the different types and what I think of some of the more underrated monsters that could be used for low level all the way up to high level. There'll be short videos that are more, not so much top 10s, but more just, hey, here's some monsters for you. So get ready for those, and I'm really looking forward to where this channel goes from here. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out the rest of these videos, and I will see you next week.